Oh, hey, what's up? Didn't see you there, man. How's it going? Oh, quit looking back there. There's nothing new to see. Yeah, just hanging out. Oh, what's up? Oh, dang, G, what you doing over there, G? Nothing. What's up? Nothing. What's up? Oh my God! Yo, what's going on, guys? Thanks so much for checking out the video. I really appreciate it. Today's a good one. Today's a really good one. We have a gazillion boxes of goodies. Very, very, very expensive goodies. Before we get into that, if you missed my last video, please go check it out. There's been some craziness that's happened. I got in an accident in the Tacoma. Nothing too serious, nothing, it's not totaled, no frame damage. But I just spent today pulling off the snorkel, some other parts and stuff, and getting it ready to go to a collision center to get repaired. Huge bummer. Again, watch that video if you haven't already to get up to speed on what's kind of happening. But anyway, that is kind of delaying this a little bit further, but I wanted to share with you guys what we're putting on, the brands and everything that's going to go on the truck, why I picked these, and just show you some of the details. So right off the bat, I will say that I know that I've hinted in other videos that I'm going to do the All Pro new long travel kit, which is insane. It's by far one of the coolest kits I've ever seen. Honestly, man, it was just taking too long for me personally. There's no bad blood with me and All Pro or anything like that. It's still a fantastic, amazing kit, but they still don't have an ETA, and I've been waiting almost around 2 years from our initial conversation. And I know I should just be patient. I don't know, again, it's a sweet kit. But in order to make this channel kind of keep going and feeding the content beast, I had to get some stuff going. So this is not me like settling or anything by going with this kit. It's just a different route, right? So all that being said, we're gonna open up the box. I've already kind of peeked in here. I'm gonna show you what I got and why I got it. And also just to let you guys know, I'm one of the first. There's probably a handful, maybe 5 or so people that have done this combination out there, but they're relatively new parts on the market. One of the first people, if not the only person I really want to give credit to for helping me kind of through some of this is Zach, Overland Engineer, and his 4Runner. He has this combination of long travel with shocks and the uppers and lowers, and I was able to learn from him. And then obviously the other one is going to be Dobinson, and really Dirt King too. So there you go. That's those are the brands I'm going with. But Dirt King and Dobinson both have had fantastic communication because these kits aren't really spec'd with each other. The shocks and the lowers and uppers aren't necessarily spec'd correctly. So I'm kind of making it work, but I just want to share those little insights with you guys. Again, David at Dobinson, Zach, Overland Engineer, and some of the Dirt King guys, man, y'all's communication's fantastic. I really appreciate that. A lot of this stuff is super crazy technical, so appreciate you answering all my questions. Let's open these things up, and I'm gonna tell you why I went with what I did, because it's very intentional. All right, here's all of the packages. A lot of money, a lot of good stuff here, very top quality parts. Again, I want to mention Zach, Overland Engineer, for helping me. Go check out his video if you want super specifics on how the install went. He has a whole like walkthrough series on that. I'm not going to do that with you guys. I'm just going to talk about the parts and kind of review it on the truck once it's on there. So if you want a really in-depth walkthrough or video or explanation, go check out Overland Engineer. So right here we have the Dirt King +2 long travel kit, and I got everything. So the lowers, the uppers, and the completed axle assemblies. So rather than use your OEM axle shafts, I went ahead and did the 300M axle shafts from Dirt King. They have a machined inner that allows more articulation, and I just figure why not do the whole thing with Dirt King. Reasons I picked the +2 over the 3.5. So the number one thing that drew me to the Dirt King kit above all other long travel kits is the fact that it's low maintenance, if not very little to none maintenance. And I say that because their ball joints are sealed. You know, there's no open uniball that you have to worry about getting crud in and oiling and all that stuff and squeaking. There's no poly bushings that squeak and you have to grease. This truck already has an insane amount of maintenance. My mountain bike has maintenance. My daily driver has maintenance. My stupid RC car has maintenance. Everything that I touch has maintenance. And so this kit is just gonna make it, you know, one less thing I have to worry about. Plus the environment of where I live and where I wheel. I'm not in the salt belt or anything, but I am in a lot of mud all the time. A lot of grime, a lot of nastiness. And right when I first got my truck, I actually had some Total Chaos Uniball UCAs, and I've replaced those balls. They still squeaked. They're open to the elements, so they get crap in them. Man, if you live like out west or somewhere where there's not a lot of debris and not a lot of mud and stuff, then by all means, you know, better ball joints and things like that with other kits are probably the move. But for me, this checked all my boxes. It's super perfect. And even the lowers have really nice, like new free spin bushings from Dirt King. And it just seems like a super solid kind of OEM plus kit. You just get that extra width. Obviously much, 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 much stronger, but you get that additional width as well. Also a quick shout out to my buddy Miguel at Dobinsons. I just got back from Florida from the Save Expo and chatted with him. And he actually took me for a couple laps in his Tacoma that has this Dirt King 3.5 inch wide kit. So I have the +2, he has the +3.5 with the same suspension and everything. So I was absolutely blown away, dude. That thing ripped. It felt like a cloud, and he was still on full street tire pressures. So anyway, I chatted with him about the differences of 3.5 and 2. I probably could do 3.5 on this truck and do a more positive offset. But I don't know, man. For me, the low amount of maintenance is just worth it for me. So we went with +2. Anyway, let's open these up, and I'll show you all the goodies. These are Dobinson's brand new MRR Long Travel coilovers. I have Dobinsons all on the truck. They're MRRs. They are fantastic. Several years ago, I made a video of why I switched from Kings to Dobinsons, and I'm still not looking back. For some of those reasons I mentioned earlier, better maintenance. They just deal with weight better. You don't have to rebuild them near as often. So all those seem like good things for me. Okay, I've talked a lot. I'm gonna shut it, and we're gonna open some of these, and I just want you guys to see some of the quality parts and welds, and we'll talk about some of the pieces. Let's get into some of this stuff. I freaking would open it from the bottom. We got one of each out here on the table. Man, all of this is absolutely just a work of art, dude. So sick. So first, let's talk about the Long Travel kit, and then we'll talk about the Dobinson's new coilovers. Here's the lower. If I had a factory one to compare, I would, but it is obviously 2 inches wider for better articulation, you know, longer travel. That's literally what the name is. It's a both of these are fully boxed, so extremely, extremely strong. They're gusseted inside, super nice. And again, the biggest selling point that sold me was the low maintenance. So right here is your lower ball joint. It's sealed and it's greasable. They're both, I think all of these are Moog ball joints, super, super solid. And then these are not a poly bushing. So I think back in the day, you know, poly used to be all the craze, but dude, they squeak so bad. I've seen it. I ran it personally. I hated it. These are kind of more of an OEM style. They just kind of free spin in here. Very, very nice bushing. This is exactly what I want in a long travel kit, or really just a lower control arm in general. So right here, we're looking at the back side. And if you turn it, this is the front side. So super cool logo right here. And then I love that they have these like built-in LCA skids. So you can replace them, you can paint them, it looks like. So that is rad. So up top right here, this is where your shock goes in. And then what's really cool about this is the strike plate for your bump stop. If you want to run a bypass shock, you can take this out and your mount is already there. So that's a super cool feature, I think, to kind of have both built in there. then this is the strap, or the bolt for your limit strap, which I'll talk about in a minute in that box. And that's basically the lower. Besides it being super beefy and absolutely beautiful, that's really about it. Incredible piece of equipment there. And then this is their upper. So fully boxed design, like some of the best welds I've ever seen. Super nice, man. Super nice. Again, they have a sealed ball joint up here. And I did order some of their machined caps to put on here, just to prevent stuff from getting down in there. But it's on the way. I don't have it right now. So I'm going to put that on there. But you can grease these, obviously. And these, like I said, are just the big selling point, right? Just low maintenance there. And then same for these bushings. They're not poly. They're not going to go bad. They're just built to last. So I absolutely love that. Okay, that's basically the arms. And then I'll just show you briefly the axle shafts. These are obviously +2 wider, and this is made out of a 300M material. To be honest, I'm not like super smart on that kind of stuff, but this is the strongest one that they offer. So I figured with as heavy as my truck is, it's good insurance just to pay the few $100s more and get the super beefy ones. Also, Dirt King does advertise that these are machined inside, so just for better articulation. So that's a big bonus. That's the long travel kit. So I do want to say the way I have to kind of rig this, if you will, is I have to limit my strap slightly, because this Dobinson MRR, nope, not an MRR, it's a Dobinson Long Travel. It is actually a little bit longer than Dirt King's specs. If I would have got the +3.5 kit, this would have been the perfect spec shock for that kit. Since I'm just going +2 though, it's a little bit too long. So that means if I let it droop all the way and be as long as it can, it's going to bind somewhere. Maybe the ball joint, maybe the CV. I'm not sure where. But that's the only downside to the combination I'm running. So here are the limit straps right there. So if you don't know what a limit strap is, it's just that it limits your travel. That way you don't droop all the way and break something. So it's already there. It's like by design, so it's not like I'm putting on this, going through the effort and putting on this kit just to not really have full droop. I'm definitely going to have much more droop. Dirt King also sends longer brake lines, all your hardware, detailed instructions, some more Zerk fittings, all the good stuff. Very packaged well. Sick. All right, now let's talk about this new Dobinson coilover. So let's compare, actually. Basically, this is like a hybrid of their new smoothies and the MRRs, at least visually. So you have this huge finned reservoir, and then you have the shock here. So one of my favorite things about Dobinsons and what they do with their reservoirs is you can move this anywhere, 360 degrees. So you can mount it in a gazillion different ways. A lot of them have like fixed, I think they're called banjo fittings. They're like a fixed 90 or fixed 45 or something. That doesn't always work for everybody. So these are sick. Okay. That's what this looks like. And I want to show you that it matches the smoothie. So the smoothie has the same reservoir. I think this is actually longer. That's like a foot long. Let me see, actually, that's nuts. Yeah, that one's a little bit longer. This is still pretty long. It's probably 8 or so inches. Anyway, same hose, same fitting, stuff like that. So we're gonna match on the front. So this is what I have now, the MRRs. I should have said too, absolutely nothing's wrong with the current suspension I have, but guys, I gotta keep pushing the envelope. So we're getting bigger, we're getting better. The Dobinson billet upper control arms have been fantastic, but we just have to have some that are 2 inches wider with the kit, so that's why I'm getting rid of those. But otherwise, an amazing control arm, and I've had 3 or 4 other control arms before it. Best by far. So anyway, if you notice on this one, your adjustment for your preload is at the bottom, and it's like inverted basically. See how the hose comes out from the bottom? Well, on the new one, it's opposite. It's flipped. So your hose is at the top, and your preload adjustment is at the top, like most other manufacturers out there. So that's the difference. And obviously, it's longer, and the valving is much different as well. That's what I got there. And then on these specifically, these are the 650 spring. I went back and forth with Dobinsons, and this is the rate that they suggest for my truck, for my weight and everything like that. So you can also see the adjustment is up here for the preload, and it's basically flipped. This is the top of the shock, your hose is at the top. So kind of a more traditional style, if you will, of shock, of long travel shock. All right, before I let you guys go, I had to just do this whole thing justice and take it all apart out of the box and show you what it looks like all together. So, I mean, come on, dude, look at this. Look at this right now. I'm talking DK, I'm talking Dobby boys. Unreal, dude. Oh my gosh, it looks good together. That's a whole lot of dollars, ladies and gents, but good things, good things. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I already kind of covered everything, but seriously, I just wanted to lay it on the floor and show you guys kind of, I guess, what it looks like together. Let's see, I think this is, yeah, these are both drivers. So if you can imagine, upper and lower, DK stacked, looking sweet. Dang, that's heavy. Man, I am pumped. Yeah, the teal goes hard with the Dobbies, always goes hard. That purple always goes hard too. Very cool. And then check out my garage. She's a mess with parts. These axle shafts look really cool. I like the gray right here. Normally they're just kind of black, standard looking, but those look good. I'll let you guys know how the install went from Adventure Motors and things. So again, just wanted to show you what it looks like on the floor. All beautiful and laid out. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's some of the highlights of the +2 Dirt King and the new Dobinson shocks, and kind of why I bought them and kind of paired them together. For one, I can't say enough good things about Dobinsons. Man, that's just exactly what I personally want. Now, if I was like, running the truck at a high speed, or I don't live somewhere where there's a bunch of dirt and grime, then I'd probably go like something else, just because it's more race performance. It's more, it's just built for that. But for me and my environment and what I do, Dobinsons have been absolutely knocking it out of the park. And then the Dirt King, like I said, they make good stuff. They always have had a good track record for good stuff. The low maintenance on long travel, like those two things together kind of blow my mind. That's not really something you put hand in hand. Usually long travel requires a ton of maintenance. So great, good things. I will say also that normally I would put this kit on myself. I would love to do it in my driveway, have some buddies over and, get hands on. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm at a point in my life where like, I'm just gonna pay for convenience at this point. I have a little boy that's growing up fast. I still want to maintain my hobbies of like mountain biking and socializing, and I've just been building my car, my truck. Like, don't get me wrong, I love doing this stuff, but I just need a break. I just want to take it to a shop and get her done. So I'm gonna take it to Adventure Motors. My good friends there, they've helped me out in the past with some stuff. So we're gonna drop it off there in Kansas City, and they're gonna get it right. They're the only ones around here locally that I trust, and they do great work. So they're gonna get me right, and I'm gonna be filming more videos like after, once the kit's on and everything, and my impressions, but no how-to video here or following. So you can look that up for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I know I left out a lot of important information, so drop it in the comments and let me know if you have any questions. I really do think this is like, I've said this, dude, I don't even know why I do this. I've said this a gazillion times. I think this is like the last thing on the Tacoma. It's pretty much the last thing I can do besides a motor swap anyway. So I think it's gonna be a great addition to the front. The rear suspension is already super long traveled, and it's as good as I can possibly get it with the weight of the canopy and everything. So I think once we get the front all flexy, she's gonna be an absolute ripper. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching along and following along. I really appreciate you. See ya in the next one. Peace.